Story now, a housing estate in Kent has managed to cut crime by 80%, and it's done it by, believe it or not, teaching the youngsters how to fight. Rachel Harrison is there to explain all. Morning to you, Rachel.
Yes, good morning, John. Well, welcome to Southfields Library. The children come here in the daytime for some quiet reflection and to sit and chat and read their books. But 3 times a week for 3 hours every night, it becomes a boxing gym. Now, it's the brainchild of Steve Lukacs, who, when he was young, had a rather difficult upbringing, but at 25, found boxing. And he decided he wanted to do something for a community that was fast heading into trouble. Now, Steve, tell me, what sort of a situation was this place in? Why did you decide to set this gym up?
I was invited here by Peter Corp and a local community here.
And why do you think boxing's helped? Because it's cut crime here by, what, 80%? What's it giving the kids?
It's not boxing itself, it's an activity they can do 3 times a week. And that's the most important thing. And boxing is one of the last things I would choose. Football, and if I could kick a ball straight, I would be teaching football. I
was going to say, not everyone was so enthusiastic about the idea of teaching someone how to throw a really good right punch, basically, were they?
No, in here, it's not full contact. And we bring the kids in here, we train them up for about 6 months. If they become good, if they show any talent, we send them off to places like Seven Oaks Boxing Club. We take them onto there, and hopefully they go on and do some boxing. In the meanwhile, they come down here 3 times a week, they train, they intermingle with each other a bit, and it gives them something to do to keep them busy.
Now, you've got 3 ex-offenders that are here. They've been in trouble, and you are dealing with the troubled teenagers from the estate. Now, yesterday we went out with 2 of those who are now reformed and enjoying coming here in the evening, and now time to hear Wayne and Lloyd's story.
The reason why we hang out here, all right area, somewhere to go when we have nothing to do. We decided to set light to that hut. Didn't get caught for it. 3 fire engines came down. It was a laugh at the time.
There used to be 5, 6 of us used to climb up on the roof. We used to throw stones down at the buses and cars as they were driving past. There was one incident where I got a stone through the back of a bus window. Over there's some bins, and one night I was a little bit drunk and I went over there, found a bit of tissue and just lit it and left it on top of the bin. And in the course of 10-15 minutes the bin caught on fire, the smoke went up inside one of the houses in there. And there was a little boy who was asthmatic, and he went to hospital. We went to a local company, and we started getting bricks out of gardens. We was just throwing them at people, and as they were coming out we was just throwing stones, bricks at them. One incident was where a girl got a metal bar hit across her head. It was £37,000 worth of damage. You know, it's not a very nice thing to be doing to people, but we didn't think at the time. We was just bored and wanted to do something for a laugh.
Well, we're joined now live by Lloyd, who you saw there, and trainer Jamie Rocky Johnson. Yes, she is a lady, former champ as well. Very good to see you both. Jamie, let me start with you. You know this area very well. What was it, in your words, what was it like before this boxing initiative?
Well, I've lived in this area my entire life, and you know, it was a very, very nice area. Then unfortunately it got worse and worse and worse. We had people on this actual roof throwing bricks off the roof of cars going by, so needless to say it got absolutely terrible. So Councillor Peter Crawford and myself got together. Peter went to the No. 1 Trust, and obviously through my boxing and Peter's boxing, we thought, hey, what would be better than some kind of boxing gymnasium type thing for the kids, to get the kids off the street. And it has been an absolutely fantastic success. And
it sounds
the
like
No. 1 Community Trust.
Yeah, it sounds as though it has been a terrific success, Jamie, marvellous. But I mean, even approaching some of those youngsters in that environment must have been fairly daunting, because I gather some of them were in the habit of actually stopping cars and demanding that they were taken wherever they wanted to go by the drivers. It was a fairly intimidating atmosphere, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a terrifying atmosphere. If you ask some of the local residents, people wouldn't go out. It was that bad. It was almost like the kids had taken control, and this was not how Showfields used to be. It used to be a very, very nice place to live. So, I mean, thanks to the No. 1 Community Trust for setting it all up, and Steve Lukacs and Matt for all the work they've done here, and for the kids, because the kids have got into line now, which is absolutely brilliant. And now they are part of the community. Instead of smashing the community up, they are now part of the community, which it should have always been like. So it's just been a wonderful success.
Well, it's you know, hats off to you all. It's just remarkable. No one thought of it before. Let's just turn to Lloyd, who's alongside you, for a quick word with Lloyd. Lloyd, what is it about boxing, you think, that's galvanised you all and turned you all around?
Well, it gives us something else to do later on at night rather than loitering in the streets, getting drunk and causing violence out on the streets. It sort of brings it into the boxing ring, and it just makes it easier for us and gives us something else to do with our time. Sure,
it's a platform for that aggression that was previously used in other ways. And what's your attitude now towards other youngsters who you now see behaving in the way that you used to behave?
Well, I'll just say, you know, join a boxing club, keep yourself out of trouble. There's nothing I can say, just the same as what I've done. Just get into boxing, gives you something else to do later on at night, play a bit of football, and just stay out of trouble. Absolutely terrific. Well, Jamie, congratulations to each and every one of you. A great initiative, very well done, and I'm sure all your friends and neighbours down in that part of Kent are very, very grateful indeed. Good to see you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome to Sheffields Library. This is where the children come during the day for quiet reflection. But 3 nights a week, for 3 hours every night, it becomes a boxing club. And that's because about a year and a half ago, this estate was spiralling out of control. The children here were causing absolute havoc. They were getting drunk and terrorising the neighbourhood. So they decided they're trying to do something to refocus their minds. And thus they came up with the idea of this. Now, if I could just interrupt you, this is Steve, you actually run the club. Now, you'll get your time here free?
Yes. All the equipment is supplied, everything is supplied free of charge for the kids.
Now, it's turned this estate around. Crime's been cut by 80%. What is it about boxing that you think has helped them?
It's not boxing itself. What helps the kids is doing training 3 nights a week. Whether it's football, whether it's basketball, anything like that. Just keeping the kids occupied for 3 nights a week for a couple of hours a night works wonders.
And it's different. You've got some teenagers that are ex-offenders here. Why have you decided to be so involved with it?
As a Christian and as a member of the local community, the problem with the antisocial youth is a community problem. Not the government, not the police and not the council. These are our kids in our street. They need our help. Most of these kids have come from unfortunate backgrounds and we have to be there to help them.
And 2 of those children that have actually been helped are Danny and Lloyd, and we spoke to them yesterday about what life was like before this came along.
The reason why we hang out here, it's all right area, somewhere to go when we have nothing to do. We decided to set light to that hut. Didn't get caught for it. 3 fire engines came down. It was a laugh at the time.
There used to be 5, 6 of us used to climb up on the roof. We used to throw stones down at the buses and cars as they were driving past. There was one incident where I got a stone through the back of a bus window. Over there's some bins, and one night I was a little bit drunk and I went over there, found a bit of tissue and just lit it and left it on top of the bin. And in the course of 10-15 minutes the bin caught on fire, the smoke went up inside one of the houses in there, and there was a little boy who had asthmatic. And he went to hospital. We went to a local company and we started getting bricks out of gardens. We was just throwing them at people, and as they were coming out we was just throwing stones, bricks at them. One incident was where a girl got a metal bar hit across her head. It was £37,000 worth of damage. You know, it's not a very nice thing to be doing to people, but we didn't think at the time. We was just bored and wanted to do something for a laugh.
Well, let's talk then to former women's lightweight champ, Jamie Rocky Johnson, and one of the lads we saw in that, Lloyd, who was in that report. Good to speak to both of you this morning. If we talk to you first of all, Jamie, where did this idea come from then?
Well, Councillor Peter Crawford and myself were walking around the estate talking about how bad the trouble was, and we both came up with the idea with our involvement with boxing. Hey, wouldn't it be fantastic having a boxing youth club style thing down here on Schofield? And basically Peter from that went down to the #1 Community Trust and said, hey, listen, can we get a venue? After a lot of work and preparation they said yes, and then we just had to find a coach, and we were extremely lucky to have found Steve Lukacs as a coach, and that's how it all began really.